Let's get crazy. Let's get wild. Let's break down the top 50 running back rankings. Guys that I'm passing on at their values. Guys that I'm smashing the buy button on in all drafts. We're going to win your redraft league. We're going to win your best ball league. We're going to win dynasty. We're going to bring home all the cash with these best running back rankings. Name number one, it's no surprise. Or is it? Is it a toss-up? Is it a surprise? It's a toss-up. You got Saquon, you got Bijan Robinson. They're 1A, they're 1B in my books. Now, my top 450 rankings available for free in the Discord server with the tiers. So go check that out and smash the like and subscribe button. I have Saquon at number one. Saquon, the worry. What's the bad? What's the negative? Okay, I'll give it to you. Saquon, sure, they're saying they're going to limit his workload. Sure, he just had 3 million touches the prior season. Look at the metrics. Everything was amazing. Like, he was least involved as a receiver that he's ever been in his career. Now, why is that important? Well, the Eagles are... Listen, I understand. They're not going to be able... They might not be able to run the football as much. They might have to pass it as much. Everyone's saying that this receiving volume can go to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Saquon Barkley was heavily involved as a receiver earlier in his career with the Poverty Giants. He had 278 yards in his 2024 season with the Eagles, and he averaged 45 yards a game his first 2 years of his career, right? So he is somebody that can handle a receiving role out of the backfield. So I'm not that concerned about the running regression. I mean, Saquon Barkley, I think there was a lot of times where Jalen Hurts stole his touchdown, right? So there is scenarios where Saquon Barkley comes out and crushes. I think that the floor is pretty safe right here with Barkley at number one. I'm fine going Bijan at number two. You have Bijan, number one, number two, Saquon, I don't care. I don't really care what you guys do. If we take a look at Bijan, he averaged 20 points per game in 2024. But if we take a look at the second half of the year, now don't forget, people were coming for Bijan's head the first half of the season. You can see the second half, it was way better than the first half. He averaged almost 23 PPR points per game, 98 rushing yards per game, which was more than Saquon his first two seasons. And Bijan's a pretty young fella. Look at Saquon, though, in his last two seasons. Saquon averaging 19.7 rushing attempts per game. Bijan actually more involved in the rushing game the last 2 years. Or I guess that's just 2024, so that's my bad. But looking at the rushing yards, you still have Saquon and Bijan pretty much even. Looking at the receiving role, Bijan more involved as a receiver. Now, that is what I also want to expand on. If we're saying Saquon can be more involved as a receiver, I also think Bijan is going to be more involved as a receiver. Ray McLeod is a dusty wide receiver 3. Money Mooney is good. Drake London, they're good. That's still only going to be 50%, 55% of the team's target share that's occupied. So Bijan is going to still be able to feast. Looking at his target share that he had, I guess it's not here on the website, but Bijan Robinson, I think he can command a Christian McCaffrey type receiving role if they ask him to. They're not going to, but Bijan Robinson is definitely a healthy pick at number 2. Number 3, and this is where this is a toss-up, easy pick for me. I have Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, I have Saquon, Bijan, both in the top tier, and then Jahmyr Gibbs in his own tier below it with somebody else, Christian McCaffrey. Now, I like Gibbs over McCaffrey in that tier. It's a no-brainer for me. Jahmyr Gibbs, he was the RB2 in 2024 in average points per game. Jahmyr Gibbs, let's just say Montgomery gets injured because Montgomery's getting up there in age, and Montgomery was injured the second half of last year. We saw that Jahmyr Gibbs, if Montgomery is injured, can perform exceptionally well, even better than McCaffrey when McCaffrey's healthy. So that's why Jahmyr Gibbs is here. His receiving role gives him a very safe floor. Love Jahmyr Gibbs, love his value. You're getting him at pick 6 too, so I like him a lot. CMC, when McCaffrey is healthy, which has been 5 out of 8 seasons, he's been RB3, RB2, RB2, RB1, RB1. Now, I don't want RBs. I'm talking about RB1. This guy is insane. He'll win you your league. 3 out of 8 years, trash. You sold. You got scammed. Get wrecked, buddy. You lost your league. In fact, you came in last. I took him last year, but don't worry. I had Garendo. I had Jordan Mason. Don't worry. I still came 11th. It's a scam. You're not going to be able to get the handcuff. If McCaffrey's hurt, you invested too heavily. This year, McCaffrey, I've seen him going at like ADP of 7 in best ball. He's been rising. Now, in a redraft league, I don't know if McCaffrey's going to make it out of round 2. I don't think he'll make it past pick 15, in my opinion. So McCaffrey, league winner, league loser potential, but the upside's there, which is why I have him at RB4. My RB5, and this is a bit contentious, RB5, I have Mr. Achane. I have Achane over Genti. I had it that way prior to the Jonnu news. Now, the Jonnu news just makes this even more satisfying. 2024, he had 35 receiving yards per game. Let's see. Let's just look at McCaffrey real quick. Let's look at McCaffrey in 2023 and 2022. So McCaffrey's receiving role compared to Achane, pretty similar. McCaffrey only had 5 more receiving yards per game than Achane did in 2024. And don't forget, Achane had a non-healthy Tua Tagovailoa. Devon Achane with this Dolphins offense can take a step forward in all aspects of the game. He could get more involved as a rusher. He could get more involved as a pass catcher. I think Devon Achane could be Christian McCaffrey 2.0. It could be the new version of CMC. It could break fantasy football. I mean, Achane and Gibbs, it's comparable in my eyes, especially because Achane, Jalen Wright, Ollie Gordon, you're a little bit less, you're less worried about pest, right? So I like Achane a lot. Quarterback does concern me for Miami, but I love Devon Achane. I'll be taking him a lot. I have Genty ranked next. So Genty comes in RB6. It's exciting, but it's scary. He's in a not-so-good offense. Like, do you trust Geno Smith? Do you trust the pass catchers? I trust Bowers after 1 year. I do. I'll be honest. 1,200 receiving yards season for Bowers. I trust him. Jacoby Myers, he's mid. Jack Besh, Deontay Thornton, mid. Like, we don't know, right? We don't know. Now, Genty is going to be the funnel for this offense. The floor could be like 12 points a week for the first 3 weeks, and that's going to suck. The ceiling is obviously super high. Like, he could be super involved as a pass catcher. He had a 650 receiving yard season in college, and that was before he broke the rushing records, right? So Genty has the upside. I have him outside of the tier of CMC, of Devon Achane, but Genty still definitely somebody that's notable. We have Derrick Henry coming up next. Now, Derrick Henry, followed by Jonathan Taylor, followed by Josh Jacobs. Now, I'm going to be real. The only guy that interests me here is probably Josh Jacobs and Ashton Jennings. Derrick Henry, I'm fading this season yet again. Now, Derrick Henry, I was kind of a little bit hesitant on last season for the same reason. Now, Derrick Henry comes out, he plays healthy in 2024. Will lightning strike twice? If Derrick Henry gets hurt, you're screwed. Again, Derrick Henry's old. He's coming off years where he's been banged up in the past, and he's not involved as a receiver at all. Kind of similar with Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, they bring in DJ Giddens. Giddens actually has a really solid prospect profile, so I think Giddens could realistically take some of the workload off of Jonathan Taylor's shoulders, which would suck. The Colts are a bad offense. Now, you get the blurb on Best Ball Underdog where it's like, oh, the Colts offense, the quarterbacks are going to hand the ball off to JT as many times as he can handle, which is true. Jonathan Taylor's rushing upside is very high, over 100 rushing yards per game in 2024. Receiving, 2 targets a game. Like, I don't love the involvement as a pass catcher from JT. Josh Jacobs, I like him because of his red zone usage, and he has a bit more of a receiving floor than Jonathan Taylor. I'll realistically just be taking whichever one of these 3 guys goes last. You know, we're talking, just because they're ranked higher doesn't mean it's worth the pick at the value that they're being valued at with their ADP. So I'll be taking whichever one of these 3 guys comes last in value. We're getting close to RB number 10 already, and again, we're doing 50 names, bro. We got Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving gives us pretty safe floor with his receiving role. Pretty solid rusher we saw in the second half of the year in 2024. Breakout season. That's fine. That's dandy. The problem here is his snap share. Rachaad White still is involved. Rachaad White still was involved. Bucky Irving with 45%, averaged 14 points per game. Amazing. Great. Will Bucky Irving get to 65%? Sure. There's guys like JT at 81. There's guys like Kyren Williams that had 95. Now, Kyren Williams, I'm fading, and we'll talk about him soon. But the snap share involvement is scary with Bucky Irving. You don't really know what you're getting. He also was banged up a bit in 2024. It's a pick that I'm scared to make, but it feels good at his current value, going after JT, going after Jacobs, if he gets a higher chance this season with this Buccaneers high-powered, going to be in the red zone offense. He's number 10. Number 11 is Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams, I am fading at this current price. Why? Sean McVay's coming out saying, yo, Kyren Williams, he ain't got the big play potential. Kyren Williams, you know who doesn't have the big play potential? He's a receiving back, blah, blah. Jarquez Hunter. This guy will hit his head on the goalpost. Jarquez Hunter, he'll take it to the end zone once every 5 carries. So they're acting like Jarquez Hunter is going to be more involved, and I believe it. Blake Corum is Kyren Williams' clone. So Blake Corum had no need to see the field unless Kyren Williams got banged up. He didn't. That's good. Kyren Williams and Jarquez Hunter are different backs. Kyron Williams had an 88% snap share. The typical snap share for a running back is 70%, 75%. So if that comes down, Kyron Williams is going to come down as well. He was RB10 finisher. I can't, if I'm saying he's going to come down, I can't put him ahead of RB11, which is where I have him ranked. I'm not taking him either. I don't love the upside. RB12, I do like the upside, is Chase Brown. Zach Moss is brack. So Zach Moss is brack. I almost just said brack. Zach Moss is back. And I was in on Zach Moss last year. The injury derailed him. That sucks. But with Zach Moss coming back from injury, I do think Chase Brown's role might go down. Taj Brooks is back from the draft. They bring in Taj Brooks for a bit of a receiving use maybe on third down. Okay. Listen, Zach Moss and Taj Brooks, I'm not really worried this season after what I saw with Chase Brown. I saw the explosiveness, 16 points per game, but if we look at the second half of the year, this is where this guy was highly involved. Now, the reason I like him is the receiving role, 30 receiving yards per game, 5 targets per game. The Bengals play from behind. He was the RB7 the second half of the year, 18 points per game the second half of the year, involved in the red zone, blah, 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 blah. This guy was good. Good. Look, 1 rushing attempt inside the 5 per game. Those are money numbers. The touchdowns come. The pay dirt. That's what you like to see. I like Chase Brown a lot as my RB11. I'll be taking him. I have him at ADP 26. James Cook is next up. Gotta fade James Cook. Why? The touchdown rate. He averaged over a touchdown per game. If that comes back down to earth and you have Ray Davis heading into year 2, Ray Davis looked good. Ty Johnson is a receiving pest. I'm fading James Cook as my RB12. RB13, I have Breece Hall. I think I'm ahead of consensus on ranking him. Breece Hall, I like. Again, 30 receiving yards per game. He brings the receiving skill set. I'm not worried about Isaiah Davis. Sure, they're saying Isaiah Davis. Okay, he'll be involved. He ain't being involved, bro. They just want to keep this guy invested. They want to keep this guy practicing hard. You're getting scammed. Isaiah Davis, call me, man. I'll tell you. You're not seeing the field for more than 10 snaps all season total. This is Breece Hall's backfield. Braylon Allen does have some juice. I'll give him that. Braylon Allen could be involved. Snap share of 72%. I don't see a reason Breece Hall's snap share would change from 72%. So I think if he gets more effective and potentially more involved with rushing attempts, I think Breece Hall is going to have another solid season. He just finished as RB12, so I feel confident ranking him. Like, his worst finish ever was RB12 last year. Why would we ever rank him less than RB12 when he gave us RB5, RB7 in his prior 2 seasons? So I'm taking Breece Hall, and I like him a lot. I have him at ADP of 35. I have Alvin Kamara ranked next. Now, Alvin Kamara just feels like a good pick, especially in PPR leagues. Like, Kamara's receiving role is going to be there. It's the most tied with McCaffrey. I think he's tied with McCaffrey for the most receiving yards we've seen so far per game in the video. Snap share of 73%. The Saints are going to be bad, so they're going to be dumping it off for sure to Kamara. How involved is he going to be in the red zone? Will he score touchdowns? That's a concern because the Saints are going to be bad. I get that. Another concern is that, listen, if the Saints are bad, maybe they see what they have in Devin Neal. Maybe they see what they have in Kendre Miller. Sure, that's fair as well. But the receiving upside alone is there. They just signed him to an expensive 2-year deal as well. So I'm still in on Kamara, at least for this season. I'm taking him a lot. ADP of 46. 47, I have James Conner. Now, James Conner, he was healthy in 2024, which is why he actually helped a lot of people win their leagues with 0 RB drafts. James Conner played 62% of the snaps, and he averaged 16 points per game. That ain't bad. He was obviously involved in the red zone. About 1 touchdown every single 2 games. 94 total yards per game. That's not bad either. Involved in the receiving game. People are saying Trey Benson's going to eat this year. Benson can eat this year if Conner's out, if Conner's unhealthy. Sure, that's true. If James Conner's healthy, you can't really be betting on injuries. Like, I have CMC at ADP of like around Jahmyr Gibbs, right, with the upside. You can't really rely on injury. James Conner, he looks good. I'm taking him. If I'm a 0 RB team, I'm taking him. Now, if I'm already sitting there with 1 or 2 running backs, I'll pass. If I have Genty, if I have Devon Achane, I'm gonna go wide receiver and play catch up a running back later with 2 rookies in the 7th and 8th rounds and pass on James Conner. But if I'm 0 RB, James Conner is a good selection. We're almost there at number 20. We're at Chuba Hubbard. We're 3 away. I think that's 17. So Chuba Hubbard comes in. Chuba is another guy. Like, I think I kind of like the 0 RB build when you're going RB for the first time in round 4, round 5. Chuba Hubbard, again, 16 PPR points per game. That is good when you're taking a running back right here in round 5 of your best ball draft. And I know in a redraft league, Chuba might be going round 4. I still like the value, receiving skill set. I mean, he didn't even have that much of a receiving role in 2024. A lot of it came, where did it come from, man? A good touchdown rate. So a good touchdown rate. I mean, high snap share, sure. I don't even know. I don't even know where all these points came from. But Chuba Hubbard completely dominated 2024. I watched it happen. I watched it unfold. I watched him beat me in my fantasy leagues. And I ain't passing up on it this season. Now, Rico Dowdle is scary. Dowdle just had 1,000 rush yards as well. You got to hope they don't like Dowdle. They brought him in. They brought Dowdle in on backup money. It's kind of a crowded backfield, but Chuba Hubbard. Let's say he goes from 77% down to 70%. He still should average at least 14 points per game. It feels like a really safe pick. And I think that the Panthers are going to be a better offense than what they were last year, especially with T-Mac coming in. Number 18, who we got? We got Kenneth Walker III. Not taking him a single draft. Won't take him a single draft. This dude can't stay healthy. You can't stay healthy. You ain't being on my team. You can go join someone else's squad. Sure, if he's healthy, the upside's there. You could make the Christian McCaffrey argument. But at least we've seen McCaffrey finish the season. I feel like we haven't really seen that from Kenneth Walker too often throughout his career. Zach Charbonnet. If Charbonnet is going to be relevant in these top 50 RB rankings, if Charbonnet is an ADP of 100, if people are banking on Charbonnet, why are we also banking on Walker? It's one or the other. I'm out on the entire Seahawks backfield. Charbonnet maybe a little later, but even Charbonnet is getting pricey. Number 19, I have Joe Mixon. Now, Joe Mixon, prior to the Nick Chubb signing, okay, I was fine taking him. Nick Chubb coming in changes everything. Do I expect Nick Chubb to be I just expect the snap share to come down. It was already 63%. They trade a third-round pick for Woody Marks. And Woody Marks, he's got a pretty solid receiving skill set. So the receiving role automatically comes down. Nick Chubb comes in. Nick Chubb could steal some goal line carries, could steal some rushing work. It's just a bad situation. It's a bad situation for Mixon. I'm fading him. Ranked at number 19. Number 20. Now we get to the tier of superheroes. The tier of picks that I consider league winning. This is guys I like taking. Again, we're going top 50 today, man. We did a top 25 already before. We're almost done the top 25. We're going 50 names. Hampton, number 20. Like him a lot. Now, I love starting my drafts this way. I love starting with somebody. I like going balanced. I like having a Devon Achane, and then I pair him up later with two of these guys around, round 6, round 7. So keep that in mind. Amari and Hampton looks really poised to have a good second half of the year. Najee Harris doesn't miss games. Najee Harris is going to be a pest. Keep that in mind. But Hampton's going to have a skill set in the receiving game and rushing game. I like him a lot. 21, DeAndre Swift. I'm taking DeAndre Swift in a lot of my leagues. He's one of my most drafted running backs. He was potentially the most inefficient running back with his carries, with his touches in 2024. So why am I taking him? We've seen him in the past, man. We have Ben Johnson coming in. Ben Johnson, he likes rushing the football. And DeAndre Swift in the past has proven that he can be efficient. In the past, he had a bit higher of a receiving ceiling. In the past, 4.2 yards per carry. That's not bad either. So if DeAndre Swift returns back or improves at all, the opportunity does not project to get worse. They bring in Kyle Monaghan, trash, bro. Roschon Johnson, he's a scrub. So DeAndre Swift's going to be heavily involved, again, a focal point in the Bears' backfield, and I feel like it's his last chance. So if he busts, his career's over. So he's more motivated, right? So DeAndre Swift, I think he's poised to crush. He's motivated, driven, good work ethic. You can't be worse. So I love the value. You're getting him in round 6. He's an RB1 with tons of opportunity. Like him a lot. Love him right here at RB21 in my rankings. 22, I have Trayvon Henderson. Following Trayvon Henderson, I have Quinshon Judkins and RJ Harvey. I got all of them back to back. I actually have Harvey ahead of Judkins. Now I have Henderson for the receiving upside. I think Stevenson's going to be a pest. That's for sure. But the receiving upside's there. RJ Harvey, Dobbins is going to be a pest and a big one. I think Dobbins is very talented, which is what scares me about RJ Harvey. I love taking either of them. Judkins, Dylan Sampson is supposedly RB2. You got Jerome Ford, RB3. I think they're going to have a true committee, so that concerns me for sure. Judkins I like for the upside second half of the year, and Judkins is in the worst of these three offenses, which is why I have him last in that tier of rookies. Now I have a couple dusty players coming out. We got Aaron Jones. They bring in Jordan Mason. I'm still not fading. I'm not fading Aaron Jones because of the Jordan Mason signing. Jordan Mason doesn't really scare me as much. Aaron Jones' health is what scares me. If Aaron Jones gets off the field, it's going to be by his own doing, not because of Jordan Mason being a stud. So as long as Aaron Jones isn't washed, as long as Aaron Jones stays healthy, the receiving skill set's there, the rushing skill set is there, 4.5 yards per carry in 2024. So I still am fine taking Aaron Jones. I've actually been fading him though because I'm concerned about health. I have him at 68 in ADP. I then have David Montgomery. Don't really think I've been taking David Montgomery much. In a best ball league, sure. If Jahmyr Gibbs is hurt, then David Montgomery could be top 5 RB in the league. Jahmyr Gibbs isn't hurt. David Montgomery is really only there for the touchdown rate. Not a big fan. I don't like banking on the touchdown rate, which is obviously almost 1 touchdown per game, which is good. But the spike weeks are going to be what's killer. Not really much of a receiving role. He did have 25 receiving yards per game, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about here. I'm fading Montgomery. Why am I taking an RB2? Guaranteed RB2 at best when Gibbs is healthy, when I can be getting some guys that can turn into the RB1s or are the RB1s. So that's my thought right there on D-Mont. Now we got Tony Pollard. We're close to number 30 here. Again, Tony Pollard, that's what we're talking about, RB1. Like, why am I taking Montgomery when Pollard is the one? Now, they're saying Tajay Spears is going to be taking some more of the snaps. It'll be more balanced. So let's just say that Tony Pollard goes down to 60%. That could be concerning if Pollard stays as a bum. Looking at his receiving role, he had pretty much no receiving role at all in 2024. And Tajay Spears getting more involved, that just means that Tajay Spears might be on the field for more receiving work. So maybe I should be fading Pollard. I haven't been fading Pollard. I think that the red zone opportunities, he only had 1 touchdown every 3 games. The Titans weren't scoring touchdowns. The Titans offense, I'm in on Calvin Ridley. I think the Titans offense is going to get better. You can't get worse when you go from Mason Rudolph to Cam Ward. You can't get worse, right? So if that increases, I see a role where Tony Pollard returns value. I have him at ADP of around like 75, 80 or wherever we are now. And you're not really taking too much of an investment into him right here. Take him as your RB2, RB3. I like him most as an RB3. Pair him up with a rookie, so Pollard's there early in the year for you, and then you sub him out for Caleb Johnson, who we're going to be talking about here soon. We're pushing RB30. Stay with me, boys. We got Caleb Johnson. Talking about him soon. See, I know these things, bro. Caleb Johnson, I have him last in my rankings. Now, why? Because we talked about the Browns offense being trash. Caleb Johnson, first off, doesn't have much of a receiving skill set. That's not great. It's not ideal. You want a receiving skill set for sure. So keep that in mind. The Steelers also don't really project out to have the best offense. They project out to have a good defense. So I don't know how many goal line carries Caleb Johnson's going to have. I think Jaylen Warren is going to be involved, like 30%, 40% of the snap share. So Caleb Johnson, second half of the year, I've taken him a lot. I've paired Caleb Johnson up with a lot of these older guys. I love pairing rookie tight end with a solid, stable piece tight end this year. That's a good pairing. I love doing the same thing at running back here. Round 6, round 7, round 8, taking these RBs is the best pick on the board. Close to number 30, we got Brian Robinson Jr. coming in at number 29. This is a W. This is a very good pick, very good value. Sure, Brian Robinson Jr. had a down year, 11 points per game. That's fine. The opportunity is still there. Austin Eckler, he's only getting older. They bring in a 24-year-old rookie running back. I don't even remember his name. Jaworski, Merrick. Who is it? Who? Nobody relevant. B-Rob Jr., the Commanders' offense is going to be better. The touchdown rate can stay the same. The touchdown rate could even improve. If he gets more effective in the receiving game and the rushing game, this offense as a whole will take a step forward. I think he'll get more opportunities. I think they'll be on the field more. I think they'll be able to slow the game down. They'll be ahead, and they'll be running the football a bit more, or they'll even be behind in some games because they have a harder schedule, and I can see the receiving skill set improve and help out. Eckler's old. Eckler could get hurt. I like Brian Robinson Jr. at the price that you're taking him at. Now, I'm not saying B-Rob is going to have a top 5 ceiling. I think his ceiling is capped at like RB12 finisher, but you're taking him right here. He's ranked as RB29 by the experts, right? So, and I have him at RB29 in mind. So you're taking him kind of at his floor is what it feels like. So there's only value to be returned. RB30, I have Pacheco. Pacheco, if we look at his actual game-by-game breakdown, this dude, the first couple of weeks of the year, was very good prior to injury. Prior to injury, he averaged 16 points per game. That's nuclear. That's good. And then Kareem Hunt takes over for Pacheco, who's injured. Pacheco comes back, and his snap share is like 30%, so Pacheco wasn't playing. If Pacheco comes back and he's the actual one, which he is, all signs point to Hunt being the 2. Pacheco can crush if he stays healthy. His rushing style is one that doesn't really promote healthy running back long term. He was only a 7th round pick too, so that's a bit concerning too. I mean, Pacheco, I think he has very, very much upside where you're taking him, and I think that after Pacheco, you're going to start running out of relevant running backs that can truly be the RB1. So I actually like him at value. Where are we at? We're at 31. We got Tyrone Tracy Jr. Who do you take? Tyrone Tracy, Cam Scatterbo? I don't know. I go with the guy that already has the head start. Tyrone Tracy is a converted receiver. He didn't really have much of a receiving role. You can only assume he's going to get better at rushing. He's been working on grip strength, they've been saying. So if he doesn't fumble once every 43 carries, which was the stat, and they start using his receiving skill set a bit more, I think Tracy could crush as RB1. Now, Scatterbum comes in, and Scatterbum is going to be a pest. So that's going to be something very scary, something very important to monitor, which we'll get to him soon. 32, I have Najee Harris. Again, Najee Harris is somebody you can take for early season points. Najee Harris never misses a game. The ceiling feels low. Like, you're expecting 10 or 11 points per game on average. Don't really like taking him unless it's a best ball league that you're trying to pair up and get some points in the RB position. Javonte Williams is my most drafted running back. Javonte Williams, I think, is the most talented running back on the Cowboys roster. He's the highest paid on the Cowboys roster. And he has probably the best chance at the most opportunity in the starting spot. I know Miles Sanders is getting first-team reps, blah, blah, blah. I'm not concerned. Sure, I would put Miles Sanders as a good running back. He's a good chance. Sanders has a good chance to get the RB1 spot as well, but I'd say it's like 75-25 in Javonte's favor. So Javonte Williams, he had a solid first 2 years of his career. You know, if we actually looked at his stats the first 2 years prior to injury, maybe we say he was just dusty. Maybe he's taken 3 years to recover fully from the injury. Maybe now that he has the opportunity, which I know he had decent opportunity in Denver, you can see he had 8 attempts per game, only averaged 9 points. I still think Javonte is going to safely, his floor is like 11 points per game if he wins the starting job with the Cowboys offense that projects out with Prescott healthy, with CD healthy, with Pickens. They're going to be scoring points. So I actually like Javonte. We're close to finishing up, man. We got Jordan Mason at 113. I'm fading him. Fading Jordan Mason. I get it. He was good for McCaffrey. Aaron Jones is ahead of him. Jordan Mason could have a goal line role. I don't want a guy that's in a committee that's RB2. I don't really see a world where he's RB1 prior to an injury. Cam Scatterbo. Cam Scatterbo, I like this pick a lot. Between Tracy and Scatterbo, like, if Scatterbo is going 20 or 30 spots past Tracy, I prefer Scatterbo at value because Tracy has fumbled. Tracy's one fumble away from being cut. He's gone. So Scatterbo, if he comes in and he crushes in preseason, this could be a very good pick that returns value. I have him at ADP of 114. ADP of 120, I have Ramondre Stevenson. Listen, I get it. They bring in the shiny new toy, Trayvon Henderson. Ramondre Stevenson was 11.7 PPR points per game, 62% snap share, 13 or 14 rushing attempts per game, and 1 touchdown every 2 games too. So he was involved in the red zone. He was one of their main rushing pieces. And Trayvon Henderson is more of a receiving backfield component rather than Ramondre, who only had 11 receiving yards per game. So I think Ramondre could be a good complement to Trayvon. I think Ramondre is going to definitely limit Trayvon's upside, and Trayvon's going to limit Ramondre's upside. So they could both be busts, or one of them gets hurt, one of them takes over. This Patriots offense looks like it's going to take a bit of a step forward. We got Jaylen Warren at 122. It's not exciting. You know you're not going to get much rushing upside. You're pretty much just banking, all right, he's going to get some rushing upside. Maybe Caleb Johnson isn't great. Maybe Aaron Rodgers likes having Jaylen Warren in there for pass protection because we all know Aaron Rodgers is crazy about that stuff. So sure, Aaron Rodgers could be calling for Jaylen Warren to be on the field for pass protection plays. Aaron Rodgers could be dumping it down to him a lot. 21 receiving yards per game in 2024 is not that bad. So I get it. I don't mind mixing Jaylen Warren into some of your teams. Coming close to number 40, we're 3 away. We're at number 38. J.K. Dobbins. Dobbins I like a lot. Talented individual. 15 points per game. We're back, baby. 64% snap share. It's not Pacheco's twin. It's J.K. Dobbins. If healthy, he's explosive. Now, R.J. Harvey, round 2 draft capital. The hit rate's very high. R.J. Harvey's 24. Good offense. They're going to be splitting. Harvey's probably going to be the one. Unless they start Dobbins as the one and see if Dobbins loses the role to Harvey, who's probably just as explosive coming in as a rookie. And, I mean, he's 24, but R.J. Harvey, the draft capital's there. I'm excited about Dobbins, though. I am excited about Dobbins and the role that he can have. Next name, we're at 39, is ETN. Somebody is going to have to be the lead back in this Jaguars backfield that has two very good wide receivers of BTJ and Travis Hunter. They're saying Travis Etienne is currently the favorite as the one. You bring in Bashal Tunin. You have Tank Bigsby, who had 700, 800 rushing yards. Etienne is my favorite in this backfield. 2024, sure, he was trash. Let's say it was a fluke. The prior 4 years, let's exclude the rookie season too. Wham, bam, thank you, man. 14 points per game. Receiving role, rushing role. Red zone role, enough said. I mean, Etienne, he was good. Maybe it was a fluke season, so that's why I have him. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Number 40, I have Tank Bigsby back-to-back. I mean, if Etienne was bad, Bigsby was actually somebody that returned value. Tank Bigsby was involved as a rusher. Tank Bigsby had a pretty solid year in 2024. It was a breakout season of sorts for Bigsby. Let's pull up his total stats. He had not much of a receiving role, but he had 800 rushing yards, so he was involved. He had 7 total touchdowns. That's not bad either. So Bigsby was involved. Where he's getting drafted, he finished as RB36 total. He's getting drafted closer to RB40, right? So kind of taking it at his floor, but Bashal Tunin comes in. 41 through 50, we're going to go fast. Fast round. 41 is Jadon Blue. Worried about the Dallas Cowboys backfield, but Jadon Blue has the receiving skill set, so I like him a bit over Sanders. 42, I'm going to put Miles Sanders right next to Jadon Blue. Miles Sanders is a big riser, just the fact he's getting first team reps, but Miles Sanders is kind of dusty. 43, we're going to go Charbonnet for the handcuff upside. 44, Rachaad White. I'm big time Rachaad White believer. Look at his snap share. Look at Rachaad White's snap share, guys. Bucky Irving only had a 50% snap share in 2024. Rachaad White is still a pass. Rachaad White is still the receiving back. Rachaad White is still relevant. So that was what, 44? I'm losing track. 45 is Eckler. Again, receiving upside. 46 is Tyjae Spears. I've been taking a lot of Tyjae Spears. I like him a lot. Bashal Tunin at 47. Tyler Algier, 48. 49, Trey Benson. 50, Garendo, Ray Davis, whoever you want to put there. Rico Dowdle, I like. So that wraps up the top 50 running back rankings. Tons of sleepers, tons of guys to bust, tons of guys to smash. A lot to avoid, a lot to target. That's the top 50 RB rankings. Signing off for now. Smash like and subscribe button.